I feel like we've overemphasized leadership at the expense of ministry. I'm all for leadership, and I'm here to talk on leadership, believe it or not. We're trying to get there. But there's a big difference between leadership and ministry. Would you agree? Leadership is about getting people to a place. I think ministry is about getting people healed, whole. And I've always been taught, if you're a leader, you're worth your salt. You better guard your time, mark your time. And let me tell you, you better, guys. Some of you prophetic people who are so prophetic, you don't have any banks. You need some banks. You will burn out being prophetic. You have nothing. If you don't have any rocks in place and you don't have any time set aside, you're going to die soon. And it's a bad testament. I'm all for putting things in place. We need to, regardless of your upbringing or your makeup. We all need time out. Jesus had time out. But I've also been taught that it's leader. You put it in place. You meet with those you need to meet with. You have time with them. And you know what, friends? I've realized more and more, I get so irritated by interruptions. Aren't you? I get irritated. And the phone rings when I'm trying to spend time with the Lord. I'm meeting with this person there. And you know what? I get so irritated. And then I go to the gym. And I'm not trying to bring in a gym story, but I went to the gym. I have my headphones on. You see, I've got plans. People think I just sit at home and do nothing waiting for the calls. Let me tell you, I've got FaceTimes of all these people around the world, time set up all over the world when I'm home. So I'm at the gym and I'm quickly going to do workout and it's planned. And then there's this dude who wants to speak to me. I got my headphones on. I don't want to talk to him. I'm busy. I'm having time with the Lord. I've got time. And he's pushing in. And then I have to take my headphones. Yes. And he's like, are you using it? I said, of course. Can't you see I'm using it? Put a head. And then he says and then he wants to talk about and then he's in tears because his wife left him. And then I'm thinking, I don't have time for this. I'm a leader of the church. I don't have time to talk to you. I get irritated. Then I claim to be like Jesus. And then I read what Jesus did. And in the Gospels, don't just hear what Paul says. Read what Jesus did. You know what Jesus did? He responds to interruptions. Most of what he's preached came out of an interruption. The stuff we talk about and preach about came out of someone asking him, what must it be to love my neighbor? Who's my neighbor? That was an interruption to his teaching. And then he talks about this great Samaritan story, and we all preach around it. It was all out of interruptions. John 3, what does it mean to be born again? How can I be born again? All this truth. Wasn't he arrived there and had this? He didn't have, I'm going to heal 10 people, 10 lepers this morning. I'm going to heal this. He didn't have a plan that he's going to just go by, and if people get in the way, don't worry. Why? Because he cared about people. You hear what I am saying. Stick to your plans. But know this, the interruptions where most ministry takes place. Probably the quintessential of Jesus interruptions when he's there and the crowds are waiting and he's walking over to the crowd and a man comes, it was a Jairus, and he said, my daughter's dying. He could have said, listen, make an appointment, talk to my secretary, I'll be in touch. I've got to probably see you in about 3 weeks' time. What did Jesus say? See, the leader would have said, well, there's a crowd I've got to go to attend to. A ministry who cares about people says, I'm coming. So now he doesn't just get interrupted from the crowd. He's heading for Jairus' house, right? Yes. And what happens? He gets interrupted again. Now there's an interruption to an interruption. And it's the woman with the issue of blood. And he walks past her and Jesus gets touched by this lady. And it wasn't bumped, touched, intentional. And he stops and he said, who touched me? Who interrupted me? Don't touch me, you unclean. She was unclean. But he said, who touched me? Who interrupted me on my interruption to another interruption when I should be a leader over there with the crowd? He stops. He heals him. And he goes and heals this other guy, the baby. Are you there, friend? Yes. I read that, I'm offended because I get mad at interruption. But I also want to say in leadership, we better understand that a lot of what God's called us to will happen in the interruptions or the unplanned moments. And maybe at times, the planned moments, nothing will happen. It's not a season to hold back.